Morning. Good morning. Hi, guys. All right. So I'm going to ask for some participation. By a show of hands, no matter how much money you're making now, who would like to make a lot more revenue? Put your hand up and say yes. Ooh, nice participation. Thank you. Who would like it no matter how much good you're doing in the world? What if you could make more impact in the world? Who would like to make more impact in this community? Put them up, say yes. And how about this? To actually find employees. Who would like that? Say yes. You guys rock. Nice participation. Here's what this presentation's really about. Would you like to learn how to make more money and a bigger difference in the world? If you would like that, put them up high and say yes. By the way, as one of my first mentors said, if this is too much work for you, your life is going to suck. Also, I'm going to ask you for participation, and it's not because I want to have just some motivational rah-rah thing. It's because the more you participate, the more you will integrate, and the more you will apply in your life at home. So that means the more money you'll make and the more difference you'll make in the world. Does that sound fair to you guys? No or yes? No or yes? Thank you. Do me a favor, high five a neighbor and say, thank you for participating. You guys rock. My name's Jayce Souder. Welcome. This speech is Say Yes and Take a Step. This is about, you don't have to raise your hands on this one, but have you ever reached up against a barrier or something that stopped you from getting the success you want? This is about that. But before I go into that, more important than what I do or the training is why I do it. And here's what I believe. I believe you and you and you and you and you and every single person in this room, you don't have to call it God. I believe in God. I believe God made you to make a difference in the world. I think there's something in your heart, a passion for you. I don't know if it's to retire a spouse or to put a kid through college or if you want to dig wells in Africa or like I personally love going on mission trips. I don't know what it is that's in your heart, but there's a message or a movement or a difference you're meant to make in the world. And what I believe is you learn to make more money through your business, or we were talking about his nonprofit. The more money you make, the more people you can help and the more good you can do in the world. And that's why I'm here today. I want to help you live your God-given mission and make a lot of money so you can make a big difference in the world. Does that sound good to you guys? Cool. I'm Jase. Most of you probably don't know me, so is it okay if I introduce myself real quick, share a little bit? Cool. But before that, I want to acknowledge someone. I want to acknowledge you. You're here today. You've spent the money to be here. You've taken time off of work, and you're investing in yourself, and I think you're awesome. So could you do me a favor? On behalf of me, look at someone near you and say, you're awesome, baby. And don't leave out baby, because no one puts baby in the corner. What movie is that? All the girls are like, Dirty Dancing. All the guys are like, baby in the corner? What? You know, you guys are a good-looking group today, too. I was watching you guys come in. This is a nice look. Do me another favor. Look at the person on your right and say, you look good today. Yeah, you guys look good. Now look at that person on your left and say, at least you made it. Who wants to have some fun? Say yes. It's been a stressful last year, huh? It's time to have some. Speaking about looking good, I didn't have any idea what pants to wear today. You know how we're all doing the Zoom meetings? I haven't had to wear pants for the last year as a speaker. And my girlfriend and I were like trying out pants. I'm like, I have only had to dress from here up for the last year. It's so weird. But it's awesome to actually see your faces. It's really great. So just a little bit about me. I'm a speaker. I travel the world. And what I do is I help people learn how to get to that next level of success to make a bigger impact in the world. You guys know Deepak Chopra. Have you ever heard of Mark Victor Hansen, Anthony Robbins? I've been published in books with those guys. I've spoken at Guerrilla Marketing Summit. I've been on the news all over nationwide, blah, 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 whatever. And I make a difference and I'm blessed. And because I've gotten to the next level, I'm able to help people. And I do it a couple of ways. I have some side projects where we import art from Africa and we sell it and we give all the money to missions. And the other way I do it is I do seminars, events, and speaking just like this. And the idea is if we can empower you to be stronger, more capable, more loving, you're going to go out in your community and make your part of the world a better place. Does that make sense? I used to live in Las Vegas. I was an entertainer, comedy hypnotist. I performed around the world. By the way, can I tell you guys my favorite Vegas trivia? Not enough people said yes. We'll go on to the next one. Would you guys like to hear my favorite Vegas trivia? Okay, help me out if you know the end of this phrase. What happens in Vegas? Just so you know, that's a lie. So, do you know who wrote that? The Pope. The Pope. Yeah, not the current pope, but the old pope. The pope who had the Pope-mobile pope. Remember that pope? So normally, for you youngsters, the Pope-mobile was like a golf cart with plexiglass. So the Pope used to have to go in this little cart, and so somehow the Pope comes to Vegas for the speaking tour, and somehow when he gets picked up, it's only the limousine driver and the Pope. And the Pope's like, get in the back, I'm going to drive. At least in my brain, that's how he talked. And he's like, get in the back. And the limousine driver's, I can't let you drive. The Vatican will find out, and I'll get fired. And the Pope says, don't worry about it. What happens in Vegas? And that's where it came from. So the Pope is driving, and have you guys been to Vegas before? There's this stretch of road called I-15. It just goes straight for miles and miles, and the Pope's like opening it up. And what happens when you speed too far for too fast? Get pulled over. And the cop pulls him over, and the cop comes and knocks on the window and says, let me see your, excuse me, sure, I'll be right back. And the cop goes to remember back in the day, the cop cars had the walkie-talkies with the little windy thing, and they'd be like this? And the cop calls the guy at the station, and he's like, hey, get me the chief. I got a big one. And the guy at the station's like, who'd you pull over? Did you pull over the mayor? And he goes, I can't tell you who it is. Bigger than the mayor. And the guy at the station's like, who'd you pull over? Who'd you pull over? Is it the governor? And the cop's like, I can't tell you who it is. Bigger than the governor. And the guy's like, who'd you pull over? Who'd you pull over? Senator? And the cop's like, I can't tell you who it is. Bigger than the senator. And the guy at the station's like, just tell me, who is it? Who is it? And the cop goes, I can't tell you who it is, but the Pope is his chauffeur. So that was, okay, that story was not true for the record. That's the only untrue story I will tell you. As far as I know, all my stories are true. So all the rest of the stories I'm going to tell you. So here's how I got into speaking and why I'm here today. Back in 2001, I was a realtor and a real estate investor, and I always felt like I was made for more. Now, don't raise your hands on this one, but you can give me one of these. Anybody here feel like you're made for more? Like you see other people achieving bigger dreams, bigger goals, and you think, I'm every bit as good as they are, I'm every bit as smart as they are, but I'm not getting the results they are. And I remember I was a real estate investor, and we're at this meeting one month, and they're doing deal of the month. And one guy, we're voting on who has a better deal. One guy's making $50,000 from a house that he fixed up. The other guy is, are you taking pictures or video? Video? Here, wait, let me give you one of these, though. So the other guy flipped a house, and he's going to make $10,000 a month for 6 months. So we're voting who has a better deal. And I remember sitting in the back of the room looking at these people and thinking, why are they having so much more success than me? You guys ever felt that way? And I went to a real estate investment meeting, and I brought my mom. I wanted to get my mom into real estate. And I'm sitting about where the gentleman is in the brown shirt. What's your name, sir? Where Bruce is. I'm sitting where Bruce is. My mom's right next to me. And this guy gets on stage, and he talks about how to change your life. And I'm like, that dude's talking to me. And he sold a seminar. It was $1,500 for the seminar. And I went to go buy it. I was like, this guy, and it wasn't about real estate. It was all about how to live your life. And I stood up to go buy the course, and my mom grabbed my jacket, and she sat me down, and she goes, you're not going to buy it, are you? No, don't raise your hand, especially if they're in this room. But has anyone in here ever had someone in your life grab your jacket and pull you down and say, you're not going to buy it, are you? Have you ever been on the verge of buying a training or investing in your business and like, you're not going to buy it, are you? Well, thank God, and this is why I'm so grateful for live trainings. That guy was so influential and so powerful from stage. I got up, I went to it was $1,500, and this was back in 2001. That was like $1 million for me. And I bought his course, and when I went to it, it absolutely changed my life. And I started going to seminar after seminar after seminar, and in 2002, I went from struggling to rocking it out. By the way, in the middle of all these trainings, my mom calls me up, and she goes, don't you think you've spent enough money on seminars? Anybody here getting that from someone in their family? Maybe someone in your family is doing this thing? Maybe you should give it up. No, don't raise your hand on this one, but you could, if you're hostage, blink twice. And they're like saying, hey, maybe you should give up this dream. I want to reassure you, you're on the right path. If you're taking notes, please write this down. What I learned along the way, if you will empty your pockets into your mind will always fill your pockets. If you'll empty your pockets into your mind will always fill your pockets. So I knew I was on the right path. So I kept going to the seminars. I kept going to events. I wound up working for that first seminar company. 2 years after the first seminar I ever took, I opened my own seminar company. I increased my income by 1,000%. I bought a duplex my mom lived in for free. I give her money every month, and I took my mom on the first-class vacation of her life. You know, you ever guys been to Mexico and you drive up in the limousine or the car, and they greet you with drinks when you get out of the car? I took my mom to a place like that. Now my mom calls me up. She has a new question. Do you know what her new question is? When's your next seminar? So, training pays. Everybody please say, training pays. You guys rock. Nice participation. So here's today's goal. I want to share with you 3 stories. 3 stories to move you and open you to get to your next level of success. So the first story is about my friend Olga. So one of the things I do is speaker training. I teach people how to get on stage, rock stages, grow their business. Olga wants to be a speaker. And I was up in Canada visiting Olga, and there was this river, and it was ice cold. And I was like, Olga, as a metaphor for jumping into speaking, jump into the river. And Olga has this beautiful Russian accent. I'm going to butcher it, but she goes, Jase, I don't see why I should do this. And I'm like, just do it as a sign of commitment. She never jumped in. She never physically took the jump. 6 years later, she still wasn't speaking. If you're going to do something, you've got to jump in both feet. Please write this down, jump in. By the way, you don't have to write anything down, but if you do, it'll integrate in your body more. So I said, Olga, jump in. She never jumps in. 6 years later, she doesn't jump in. So I did a cross-country speaking tour back in 2013. We did 68 days, 13,000 miles, and we started on 9/11 on purpose. We called it the USA Victory Tour, and our subtitle was, When Small Business Wins, America Wins. And our goal was to empower small business so we could start to make a difference in America. So the day before, and normally Olga and I would talk every few months, and Olga had really disappeared for a while. I'm like, Olga, where are you? And the day before the tour, 4 months before the tour, Olga calls me, and she goes, Jase, I've been out of touch because Joe and I went to the U.S., and we're trying to get pregnant. We're doing fertility treatments, and I'm back in Canada now, and my Canadian doctors are really mad at me because the fertility treatments may have harmed my heart. Growing up, she had heart surgery as a little kid in Russia. So I'm like, wow, let's pray and hope that nothing happens. So we're starting the tour on 9/11. September 10th, Olga calls me, and she goes, Jase, it did damage my heart. I'm going for open heart surgery tomorrow, and, I'll let you know how it goes. And I said to her, you will do anything to avoid being a speaker. So the next day, I'm on Fox 5 in Vegas, and then we're driving to Salt Lake, and I'm doing a performance in Salt Lake that night, and then I'm going to speak the next day. And Olga's husband, Joe, texts me. Everybody please say one word. No, just say one word. Say the phrase, one word. Now write it down, one word. One word is the difference between the life and death of a presentation, the life and death of a relationship, the life and death of your dreams, and the life and death of your business. One word. It only takes one word. So the next day, we're driving up to Salt Lake after I'm on the news, and I get a text from Joe, and it says, Jase, the greatest thing happened last night is Olga came to Christ, and I have peace knowing I'll see her again someday no matter what. And then about 10 minutes later, Joe texts me, she's in God's hands now. So now I'm crying my eyes out. I'm driving to Salt Lake City, and my team's with me, and my team's like, do you want to pull over? And my only answer is, I don't know. And the reason I say I don't know is because if we pull over, we might never get to Salt Lake. And I know every time I speak, someone in that audience needs to hear my message. I know when you choose to step up, someone needs to hear your message. Whether it's an employee, whether it's a spouse, whether it's one of your kids, someone in your life needs encouragement and love that only you can give. So my only answer is, I don't know, because if I pull over, maybe we never get to Salt Lake City. But I'm crying my eyes out, so it doesn't seem like the right thing to do to keep driving, right? So finally I pull over, and we switch with my team, and I pass out, and I do a performance that night, and sure enough, someone comes up to me and says, I haven't laughed in 5 years. Thank you. And then I get this text from Joe that says, will you please pray for the last hour of Olga's surgery? Joe, you said she's in God's hands. What are you talking about? No answer. So I go to bed, and I got to speak the next morning, not knowing what happens to Olga. And finally, Joe texts. He goes, oh, the surgery went great, better than expected. And I'm like, you said she's in God's hands. And he goes, oh, I meant it's in God's hands. I said, you're going to be in God's hands. Do you get in Joe's communication, one word was the difference of me thinking Olga was dead or alive? He writes, she's in God's hands versus it's in God's hands. In your business dealings, if you are not mindful of the words you speak, one word can kill a deal. And by the way, anyone here that's in a marriage they like, there was one word that made it work. We'll talk about what that one word is in a minute. There's one word that will birth your dreams or kill your dreams. So what I want to encourage you with this first story is to say yes and jump in with both feet. Everybody say jump in. You got to jump in. It's now or never. You got to do it. Second thing I want to share, there's 5 keys to success. It's really 5 cuz, because there's really 4 C's and a K. So I want to share with you the 5 keys to success. Who here feels like there's a mountain you want to climb and you'd really like to get there better, faster, easier? If you would like to, whatever that goal is, whether it's money, finances, relationship, body, whatever it is, put them up, say yes. If you like. Come on, a little bit louder. I know it's earlier. Give me a yes. Thank you. I love you guys. Let's bring the magic back to Magic Valley. By the way, we were thinking about something. I got to acknowledge some other people in here. We were hanging out last night with Carrie and Zach and Senate. You guys, do you know how much time and energy and effort they have put into creating this event? They have really, especially Carrie. You guys, Carrie's right over here. Carrie, can you stand up real quick? Can we get a huge round of applause for Carrie, please? I don't think she's making a dime on this, you guys. And she's put her heart into this, so thank you. And for Zach and Senate, thank you for helping make this happen, and the entire team that's here. And by the way, is the Orpheum gorgeous, you guys? How about give it up for the Orpheum for having us here, too? This is wonderful. Thank you, guys. So whatever your mountain of success is, there's 5 things you need. First thing, you need a cause. You need a cause. If your business in life is only about you, you're not going to go very far. If you're this big, but your resistance is this big, you won't get past it. If your resistance is this big, but your cause is this big, you'll get past it. So this is what Senate was talking about. Make your life and your business about something bigger than you. So you've got to have a cause. And have you guys watched Simon Sinek's video, How Great Leaders Inspire Action? You want to watch this. Or Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I'd write this down if you guys were. If you haven't seen this video, it's Simon Sinek. First name Simon, last name Sinek. That's S like Sinek, I like Einek, N like neck. And the video is called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. It's an 18-minute TED Talk. It'll change your business and your life. Your why is not about your family. Now, that's your personal why. If you think about your goals for your family, whatever that is, like one of my clients, their goal was to be at every practice, soccer game, football game, lacrosse game their kids were in. That was their personal why. And I asked them, and I want you to answer this question for yourself. Whatever it is you want for yourself, if you could wave a magic wand and everybody could have that, would you do that? Would you want everybody to have that? That's your why for the world. Somewhere in there is your why for the world. The thing you desperately want for yourself, the way to make it happen for yourself is to put it out into the world. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me some nods. Does it make sense? No or yes? Okay, cool. By the way, it is so neat to speak live. It literally has been a year, more than a year since I've spoke live. It's awesome. Yeah, and no masks. It's so nice to see your smiles, or most of your smiles. Some of you are looking at me like, when are you going to start? So, first you need a cause. Second, you need commitment. There's 2 ways to commit today in America that are pretty easy. First, tell everyone you know. A huge mistake too many people make is when they find that thing they want to do, that thing that's important, they keep it to themselves. Oh, I don't want anyone to steal it. Oh, I don't want anyone else to know. You got to share it with everybody, which will make you on the hook for it. Does that make sense? And the second thing, spend more money on it. Anybody here a little stage fright or shy of getting on stage, but you'd like a breakthrough with it? Put your hand up. If someone's shy of getting on stage, but you'd like a breakthrough. Yeah, whoever that is, you're like, there's no way I'm raising my hand. Trick question, right? Okay, let me see who is. Let me see who is. Hey, guys, sound team, I'm going to walk down here. Hopefully there's no feedback. So, all right, put them up. Let me see. Come on. Who wants a breakthrough with getting on stage? You're a little shy, but you'd like to get on stage. Let me see. Put them up. Wow, really resistant. All right. Back there, sir. Back there. Do you want to break through with getting on stage, but you're a little shy? Do you have a wallet on you right now? Do you have any kind of money or cash? What do you got? What else is in your wallet? What? You got keys? Or did you walk? Money clip? All right, come here real quick. Just come here real quick. Do you have keys on you? Yep. Can I have your keys too? Great. What's your name again? I'm Stan. Hey, how about Stan? Give it up for Stan. Let me have your phone too. I just everything, Stan. All right, Stan. Stan wants to break through with getting on stage. Here's how we do it. Ready? In the Bible, I think you could take this one of two ways or both ways. In the Bible, you could say, where your treasure is, your heart will be, or where your heart is, your treasure will be. So, Stan, here's your stuff. Stan, come get your stuff. Look at how fast he's walking up here. Give it up for Stan. Oh, come on. I see people not clapping. He was braver than you. Give it up for Stan. He raised his hand. Come on up, Stan. High five, Stan. What are you doing on stage?
Getting my shit back.
Yes! That's exact. Why are you on stage?
You took my stuff.
One more time.
You took my stuff.
Didn't you say you were afraid of being on stage?
A little.
Yes. I did not take his stuff. I helped him have a breakthrough. Where are you now?
On stage.
Yeah, look at those people. They're not so scary, are they?
That one is.
Which one?
The blonde lady.
The blonde lady? Oh, Carrie? Oh, Carrie's not, well, a little, but not a lot. I mean, I would never want to be on Carrie's wrong side, right?
Me either. That's why I'm here.
Are you guys glad I'm here, by the way, by show of hands so far? Carrie, did you see that? You'd be a good choice. So, but here's the point. If you want commitment in America, put money on it. I could have asked them all day long to come up. No, but you came up to get your
shit back.
So put your shit where you want to go. Go ahead, grab your shit. Give it up one more time. Dude, you rock. One more high five. Thank you, sir. Hey, how was it? It wasn't so bad, was it? No, it wasn't bad at all. Breakthrough. If you want to go somewhere, put your money there. Let me say it again. If you want to go somewhere, put your money there. I was on an airplane. I'm sitting next to this woman. She ripped. I'm like, what's your secret? And she goes, I find the most expensive gym in town. I'm like, the most expensive? Most of us look for the cheapest. She goes, I find the $150 gym. So every day I'm like, that's $5. I'm going to the gym. If you want a breakthrough, put money on it. If you want a breakthrough, do what, guys? Hire a coach. Do something like that. So we've got cause, commitment. Tell everybody, put money on it. Third, let's suppose you're literally going to apply, let's suppose that mountain is Mount Everest, and we want to climb Mount Everest. Are you just going to willy-nilly go up Mount Everest? What's probably the first thing you're going to want to do? Train. How are you going to know how to train? Thank you for the participation, by the way. You guys are awesome. How are you going to know how to train? One more time, louder. Hire an expert, hire a coach. Please write this down. Coach, what's the one resource that tells you how to train, the gear to buy? And if this is Everest, there's probably potentially, if you don't know what you're doing, all kinds of ways to go up. But if you're an expert, you probably know the way to go up. And if you're hiring a coach, do you want to hire the coach who's like, man, I am the greatest coach. I have read all the books on climbing Everest. Who do you want to hire? The guy who's like, I've done it, and I've done it multiple times, and I've taken multiple people, and here's all their testimonials, and I can prove to you I've done it. Write this down. Hire a coach who's done what you want. Hire a coach who has done what you want, or who has proof he's helped other people do it. Do not hire on theory, hire on proof. And so let me ask you a question. If the coach says, here's how you need to train, and literally your life will be on the line when you go up this mountain, are you going to be like, nah? Or are you going to do it? Nah, or do it? Was this too hard of a question for you guys? Do I need to define nah? Or, Carrie, help me out. What should I use a different word than nah in this? Huh? Me? Oh, so we guys be like, me? Or you'd be like, yes, I'm going to train. That one got you to laugh, the me? I tell the whole Pope thing. She just looks at me like, mm-hmm. And I go, me? And Betsy, my girlfriend's here. Betsy, will you please write down me for future presentations? Thank you, honey. That one's going in the script. So, you guys think I'm kidding. so, if your coach says, buy these shoes, or better yet, buy this oxygen tank, are you buying that oxygen tank, or are you going to the special discounted oxygen tank place online? Because your life's on the line. Which one? Discount or what the coach says? Do you guys want to know a big challenge most of you have? By the way, raise your hand if you're a business owner in here. Please raise your hand if you're a business owner in here. Great. Please raise your hand if you're in sales in here, if you're in sales. Okay, trick question. Everyone's in sales all the time. Whether you're an employee who wants a raise, or you want your ideas adopted, or you're a nonprofit who wants to make money, or you're a human being who interacts with other human beings, sales is simply, write this down, sales equals communication. It's intentional communication that moves to an action. If you're a pastor, you are definitely in sales. If you have kids, you are definitely in sales, and you will suck, and your kids will go off the rails, or you'll get some masterfulness, and you'll have a little better hope of helping them go on a better path. Let me ask again, who's in sales? Put them up high. That should be all the hands. Nice. High five your neighbor and say, you passed. That was a pop quiz. You passed. You guys are even high fiving. I love it. Did you high five anyone? I saw it. Way to high five. You guys, I have been training people since 2003, 18 years now, and I can tell who's going to use my information and succeed and who's not. Do you want to know how I can tell? Who high fives? Literally, who high fives? Because if I say high five your neighbor and they go, then when they leave, this is what they're going to do with my information. I mean, me. That one kills me. So, that's what they're going to do with the information. But then like her, she got a second chance, and she like leaned way over to high five him. So what does that tell me what she's going to do with the information? She's going to do what it takes. In life, talk is nothing. It all comes down to one word. It starts with A, and it rhymes with matchin'. Yes, action. Please write this down. It's action or BS. You do it or you don't. Here's a challenge you guys have. Many of you are too determined to prove you could do it your way. If we could make you a little less smart, you'd make a lot more money. Because there's tons of resources on how to make money, how to impact people, but then we get fearful, we get scared, or we're like, I'm going to do it my way. Quit doing it your way. Do the way that works. If you hire a coach, do what your coach says. And if you're resisting your coach, pay your coach more until you quit resisting and you just do what they say without thinking. Does that make sense? No or yes? Is it okay I'm coaching you straight, you guys? Cool. So you're going to hire a coach. Now let me ask you, if this literally is Mount Everest, where are all the coaches? At the top where the flag is? Is that where you want to hire a coach, when you get to the top? No. What about halfway down? Is that where you want to hire a coach? Where are all the coaches who are available? But not even at the base of the mountain, way far before you even get to the mountain so you can start training. The time to hire a coach is when you decide on where you want to get. You might want to write that down. The time to hire a coach is when you decide on where you want to get. There's no coaches available on the mountain. You know what is on the mountain? Literally on Everest. You know what is on Everest? Dead bodies. Yep, who said that? Raise your hand. Yes, dead bodies. Those dead bodies are used as signposts and guideposts by other people going up the mountain. By the way, the same thing happens in business. The road of success in business is littered with dead businesses that are used as signposts by people who are climbing the mountain of success with a coach. So you want to hire a coach. So what do we got? What's number one? We got a cause. Thank you, and it's okay to look at your notes. Number two, we have a. Number three, we have a. Number four, we have a. I was hoping someone would guess it. That would have been awesome. Community. Community. The most important thing you will have on your path to success in business and life is community. I'm sure you guys have all heard your average of the five. Have you guys heard this one? Your life is the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Your income is the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Your body will be the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. Your spiritual connection will be the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. I call it 5 alive. Everybody say 5 alive. I want to invite you to inventory your 5. And if it needs an upgrade, or if you want more people who believe in you, who think you can do it, I want to invite you to an amazing community. Who here would love to find a community that wants to, let me ask you guys a question. Would you like to support people on their path to success? If you're someone who wants to encourage and support others, and you believe, I personally believe anyone can achieve anything with the right training. Just like Senate said, the right training makes it work. If you believe that too, put them up and say me. Good. Okay, you guys ready? Here's your community. Look left and right. That's why Carrie put this on. That's why Zach put this on. That's why Senate put this on. It's time to bring together the leaders of Magic Valley and Idaho to help empower each other so we can all grow geometrically. And frankly, that's why I came, you guys. I didn't come for the money. I came because I love Idaho. I just got choked up. This is the first place I've ever lived where I felt like I was home. My first month in town, just to tell on myself, I moved here about 3 years ago. Is that okay, you guys? I'm only 3 years old, but that's like old compared to all the new people. I was a little nervous to say, thank you, I'll take it. I don't like when everyone applauds, just one at a time, like sniper applause. Although, if you could run around while you do it, it would sound like everyone's clapping. That would just be awesome. So, I keep pulling. They mic'd me up with the headset mic, and when I saw Senate use the hand mic, I'm like, I want to use the hand mic. So I still have this tape on me from the headset mic. I keep going like, it's on. Me. So, where was I? Squirrel. Do you guys want to hear an ADD knock-knock joke? Okay, ready? Knock-knock. Let's ride bikes. Someone's like, I don't get it. Did you guys hear about the two peanuts walking down the strip? It was horrible. You guys hear what happened in Vegas the other night? Two peanuts were walking down the strip. Yeah, one was assaulted. Really? So I was told, thank you. I was told to tell you guys, I used to be a flight attendant, and we were based in Phoenix, and like the airplane would get super hot, and always the AC broke in the summer, and so people would be bitching, and I'd get in the aisle, and I'd tell those jokes. I'd be like, hey, why did the fish swim across the ocean? Why did the fish swim across the ocean? No, you're supposed to say, why did the fish swim across the ocean? Why did the fish swim across the ocean? To get to the other tide. I know, right? So I would tell these jokes in the aisle, and I get that same response, and I go, hey, if you guys quit complaining about the heat, I'll quit telling jokes. Everybody quit complaining. It was awesome. So, but for real, where was I? Totally lost my train. I know, thank you. My first month here, I'm like at the light, and it turns green, and the car in front of me is making a right, and I honk, like beep, beep, like go. And then I was like, that's the first horn I've heard in a month. I'm that guy. If I'm behind you at the green light and you're like checking your phone and you don't go, I'll wait for 10 minutes now. I don't care. I'll wait. But for real though, one of the things I love about Idaho, and I want to thank you guys for this, it's maybe a nicer human. Idaho is full of the nicest human beings I've ever met, and one of the things I really believe in this political climate, we don't need Idaho to become more like the rest of America. We need the rest of America to become more like Idaho. Yeah. All right, so number one, we got a cause, commitment, coach, community. Got to have a community. One of the ways to find a community is to buy into a community if you don't have one. Get into a coaching program that has a community, or just reach out here. Is Senate in this room, or is he somewhere else? He's over here. Carrie, Senate, Carrie, Zach, can you guys introduce people to awesome people? And would you guys be willing to support anyone here in their success journey? Yeah, you guys do it. By the way, I was talking to Zach. I don't know how he's doing it. I'm like, Zach, how's your business going? He's like, we can't even take more business. We're so busy. Is that cool or is that cool? That's a guy you might want in your Five Alive. Does that make sense? So find your community right here, you guys. Commit to next year and then stay in touch. Where are we going for happy hour after this? Milner's, you guys. Come to Milner's. Make the social connections, right? Make the relationship. So we got cause, commitment, coach, community. And the most important step is keep going. See, if you're going to hit another level of success, would you guys like a tool to know if you're on the right path in life? But this is going to be like a tough one if I tell you, so I want to know. Do you want to know? Okay, ready? Two things. Ready? One, massive resistance. Right before the breakthrough will be the most resistance. Number two, Massive, massive fear. See, when you're about to step out of your comfort zone into that life you want, into that goal, into that dream, when you've been doing it wrong, doing it right feels wrong. When you're about to, like, if this circle of light up here was my comfort zone and I want to go here, I'm by default leaving my comfort zone. So if I'm leaving I'm going to give you a clue here, comfort zone, then where I want to be is going to be what? Exactly. And biologically, you have been programmed to stay stuck. There's a thing called homeostasis. It's what regulates the temperature of your blood. It also regulates how much money you make and the kind of relationships you have. Have you ever seen someone who keeps dating a jerk over and over and over, or they date someone great and turn them into a jerk? Homeostasis. Have you ever seen someone that no matter what happens, maybe you've experienced this, you start making more money and you're like, yes, yes, and then like bills show up you don't expect, and you're like, no, no, and then, or have you been gaining and losing the same 10, 15 pounds over and over? Homeostasis. Biologically, you are programmed to stay stuck. And this is why you have to put these 5 pieces in: the cause, the commitment, the coach, the community, and keep going. Because biologically, you've been stay stuck, but if you want to go, you're going to go out of your comfort zone, and the number one thing your subconscious uses to keep you stuck is fear. The ugliest of F words, it's fear. So massive, massive fear. So you're going to learn how to conquer that fear ahead of time, or in the moment, that fear is going to come up and you're going to face it without training. That's why when you know where you want to go, you need to hire the coach now so you can start training. Does that make sense, you guys? No or yes? So when I went to that first seminar, spent $1,500. That's the first time I said yes. Everybody say yes. Yes. One more time, please. Now I want you to say the phrase, say yes. Beautiful, thank you. High five another neighbor and say, you're awesome. High five another neighbor and say, I'm so glad you're here today. So, everybody say the phrase, say yes. Now say the phrase and take a step. Cool. If you want to get somewhere, massive fear is going to come up. And what I want to invite you as a practice in your life is to say yes and take a step. To say yes and take a what? Nice. And you got to practice. Because let me rephrase that. If you're going to play big, massive resistance is coming. And I want to be really clear. It's really okay if you don't play big. It's really okay. But you can't complain about the state of the world if you do. If you shrink, if you play small, it's on you. If God has blessed you with talents, abilities, and money, you are meant to make a difference. And I'm speaking to every single person in this room. You either had the connection to be here today, or you had the money to be here today, and the amount of food you have on your table and the money you have in bank in your account, I don't care if it's $1. Do you know how much better you're doing than the rest of the world? There's a song, it's called Do Something by Matthew West. He says, I shook my fist at heaven. I saw all this stuff going on in the world that was bad, and I shook my fist at heaven. I said, God, why don't you do something? And God said, I did. I created you. It's time for us to do something, you guys. And if you're going to play big, you're going to have massive resistance. So would you guys like to know how to get through that massive resistance? Write this down. The answer to how is yes. The answer to how is yes. I want to invite you to become a yes in life. And so when I went through those trainings, I bought that first seminar. And at that first seminar, we ate fire, we broke boards. And then I bought a $4,500 seminar. And then at that $4,500 seminar, I bought a $10,000 seminar. And I was like petrified. And someone held my hand and walked me over there. And at that $4,500 seminar also, we walked across a pit of broken glass. Eating fire didn't scare me, but the broken glass scared the crap out of me. And then I stepped up to it, and it was about as big as this, like from here to like over here. And I stepped up to the edge of the pit, And I saw where everyone had stepped before me, and it was smooth. And there was these little steps. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it that easy on myself to just step where they've been. And then it hit me, that was my whole life. If that was a mile-long glass pit, do I want to prove I'm good enough, or do I want to get my results on the other side? You guys, if you'll just step where people have stepped before, if you'll take the coaching of everyone you've seen today, if you take Senat's coaching, and Amy's coming up, who's brilliant, if you'll take the coaching, and everyone who's going to talk after lunch, the steps are already there. You'll get it better, faster, easier than you ever thought possible. And then we did these ropes courses where we had to jump off, and we standing on top of this. Anybody here done a ropes course before? You're like standing on top of that pole, and you're like 60 feet in the air, and they're like, jump, and you're like, what? And your harness in, but then you got to say yes and jump. So we practice facing our fear. You've got to train on practice facing your fear. Does this make sense? No or yes? And you've got to say what? And take a? Let's say the whole phrase. Say yes and take a step. Go. Nice work. Here's why this is important. So I go to work for that first seminar company. I'm working for them now. I worked on the staff, like the whole thing about begin by sweeping. I began as just the bottom person. I work up, and then they're looking at me to be a speaker on their behalf. And so they send me to Orlando, Florida to speak at an event, a couple hundred people, and I lived in Orlando. So I knew everybody, and I did really well. And what I was doing is selling from stage back then. We were selling these workshops from stage. And I fly back the next day, it's Saturday, and I'm having lunch with my mentor, and we're talking about my results from the night before. And he looks at me and he says, remember the answer to how was what? And our phrase is say what and take a what? Nice. So he looks at me and goes, you did pretty good last night. I'm supposed to speak tonight in front of 500 people. Let's have you fill in and see how you do on a real stage. So what do I say? And I want to be clear. Sometimes that yes comes out like this. Yes. So yes. It's say yes and take a what? So what's my next step? You guys, we may have had a few adult beverages the night before in Orlando and then flown back the next day. So I'm tired, stinky. I'm at lunch in shorts. My next step is I got to go home and take a shower. And I got to show up at the venue like 4 hours later. A gift that's happened to me over and over in my life, and I don't know how to duplicate this for you or I would, is I've been put in positions where I had very little time to think about it, and it was sink or swim. Especially for you thinkers in the room, I want you to write this down. Give yourself less time to think about it. Miss, are you going to the bathroom? Mention my name and get a good seat. So, I haven't been able to do that for like a year. It's awesome. So, when I learned to do a hypnosis show, I'll give you another example of having less time. When I learned to do a hypnosis show, have you ever heard the phrase act as if? It's like act like you're that way and then you become that way. So we did the hypnosis show, and I'm hanging out with my friends in Orlando, and I'm like, I'm a great stage hypnotist. It's Tuesday night. I'm like, hey, guys, I'm an amazing stage hypnotist. And they're like, really? I'm like, yep. And I didn't do the math. The guys I were talking to was the head DJ for a bar called Slingapore's. It was the hottest club in Orlando at the time. The head DJ, the head bartender, and the bar manager were all roommates. And that's who I was talking to on Tuesday night. On Thursday, they called me up and say, we booked you for a show Sunday night. See you Sunday. So I had a choice. I could either back out or between Thursday to Sunday learn the show. Does that make sense? So I had very little time. It was taken out of my hands. When my mentor says, let's have you fill in today, I had very little time. If you could set up dynamics in your life where you have less time, give yourself deadlines so you got to jump without thinking, your life will be better. Also, the hardest yeses are usually the best yeses. When you're really scared to invest, to put money into that business thing, to do that advertising or that sponsorship or that marketing or hiring that employee, a lot of times those hardest yeses are the best yeses. Does that make sense to you guys? Cool. So he says, let's have you fill in. So I go home, I shower, and I show up to the venue. Does anyone here happen to know Ron LeGrand by any chance? He's a real estate trainer. You know Ron LeGrand, sir? Have you met him or seen him? No? Okay. So I asked, because Ron's not a touchy-feely guy, and I like to have people confirm it, like not at all. So I show up, you guys, and I'm nervous, and I introduce myself to Ron, and I go, Ron, I hope this opens the door for us to work together in the future, and I'm going to do the best I got for you. And Ron goes, there's 500 people in the room. They each paid $3,000 to be here. There could be some resistance in the room. Good luck. Thanks, Ron. So I go in the bathroom and I'm doing my deep breathing exercises, and I've been taught to do 5 deep breaths. Let's all take a deep breath. Come on, ready? Let's do a couple more. Ready? One more. So I'm in the bathroom, and I'm not going to the bathroom, you guys. I'm just in a stall, and I'm doing I'm going like this. I'm so nervous, right? And this guy comes in the bathroom, and he goes, "Hey, Dave, is Dave here?" You guys remember that old joke? I'm like, "Dave's not here." And the guy goes, "Did you hear the headliner's not here tonight?" By the way, to this day, I've never seen this guy's face. The guy goes, "Did you hear the headliner's not here?" And I go, "I heard that. What do you think about it?" And the guy goes, "I think it sucks." How would you have felt in that moment? See, this is my big break. If I rock that stage, my life goes one direction. But if I don't rock or if I don't show up, it goes another. How would it feel if what you want most professionally in life is right there on the line, and you're going for it, and you've been put into that spot last minute, and someone comes in and says it sucks that you're there? How would you have felt in that moment? And here's what's important. That's the moment your destiny is formed. That's the moment you'll say no or you'll back out. And by the way, anything other than yes is a no. I can't, and it'll sound like this. I can't afford it. I don't want to. I don't have the time. I don't know how to. You do anything other than yes, it's a no, or you say yes and you move towards your dreams. And it's all going to come down to this one moment in time. You talk to that person or you don't. You invest or you don't. You take that course or you don't. You say yes or you don't. Everything I wanted was on the line in that moment. How would you have felt in that moment? But luckily, I realized something. 2 things. 1, I believe in God, and I think God's got me. So wherever you are, whoever you are, I think there's something bigger that loves you and looks out for you. So I put my trust there. And then the second thing I realized is I bought a course for $1,500. I said yes, and I took a step. Then I bought a course for $4,500. I said yes, and I took a step. And I walked on a pit of broken glass. I said yes, and I took a step. I ate fire. I said yes, and I took a step. I jumped off a 60-foot thing. I said yes, and I took a step. So I had been practicing in the face of my fear, in the face of my body saying no, my mind saying no, my emotions saying no, saying what? And taking a? So that when the moment came, I was ready. You're either going to practice and be ready or you're not. You'll get better at what you practice. You might want to write that down. You get better at what you practice. If you practice being a no, you get better at being a no. If you practice being a yes, you get better at being a yes. So I say yes and I take a step. What's my next step? Oh, by the way, the guy in the bathroom, I said, "Hey, I heard this guy Jase is here. What do you think about it?" And to his credit, he goes, "I don't know, I'll tell you later." To this day, I've never seen the guy again. So what's my next step? Literally, what's my next step? To leave the stall. Then what's my next step? To leave the bathroom. And then I got on stage, and later on today, Sean's coming up, and he's going to talk about improv and the tools of comedy. You guys, improv will help you be better in all of your life, because one of the things is you yes and. You use the resistance that happened to make something great. So when I got on stage, everybody's looking at me like this, like kind of like how you guys were when I first got up here. Like everyone's like, "Who's this guy?" You know, they're all mad I'm there. And I believe when you say yes and you move through it, you are rewarded. God rewards you with breakthroughs and like things. When you commit, a lot of times the resistance falls away. When you commit fully, resistance falls away. You might want to write that down. Commit fully, resistance falls. So I believe what happens is when you commit, you can use what happened when you learn like improv tools. So when I got on stage, I told the people what happened in the bathroom. I told them that some guy came in and said it sucked I was there, and they all went from like looking at me like this to like cheering for me as the underdog. Is that awesome? Is that awesome? So I do a comedy show. The next morning I speak, and in an hour presentation, I did $96,000 in sales. Who thinks that's awesome? Make some noise. Yeah. So at the end of the thing, you know, we were selling these products and home study kits and seminars, and at the end I'm talking to these 3 attendees, and Ron steps between me and the 3 attendees, and he goes, "You need to talk to my assistant, Cam." I said, "Ron, I hope this opens the door for us to work together in the future." And he goes, "You're in. You don't know how far you're in." And I said, "Can I have a hug?" Spark shot out of his head, and he goes, "Okay." because I rocked that one stage, it opened the door for me to speak on all of his Ron the Grand Millionaire Maker Bootcamp stages and then launch my own company about 8 months later. And had I not said yes in the bathroom, I would have never been here today. So what's the answer? We got to say what? And take a? Even when you think you can't. You got to say what? One more time. What? And take a? Yep. Awesome. I love the participation. Do me a favor. Say thanks and high five someone near you. Say thanks for participating. You guys rock. That's a yes. So at the end of the day, hey, if Amy's down there, Amy, we're bringing you up in a moment. So at the end of the day, I'm sitting back in the corner, and I'm like taking it in. You guys, it was my big break, and I rocked it. And like I knew my career was set on another path. And by the way, these moments keep happening where you're going to invest bigger and be challenged, but they get easier the more you practice saying yes. Does that make sense? So I'm in the back of the room, and I got my arms crossed, and I'm just kind of taking it in. And this guy comes walking over with the yellow bags, and he's like, hey, I'm Dave. So I got to meet Dave, the guy that the other guy was looking for. I thought that was funnier. So, but what's been cool is I have seen Dave over and over and over the years, and it's been really awesome. So let me ask you guys a question. Has this been valuable for you guys? If it has, please put them up and say yes. It has been an honor and awesome to be with you. And I'm going to wrap my time up. I want to share with you a quote. It's from The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Not the art of war, but the war of art. By the way, I consider all of us artists. If you're in business, if you're in sales, if you're alive, you're an artist, and you're creating your life. So here's what he says in The War of Art. The artist's life. Are you a born writer? Were you put on earth to be a painter, a scientist, or an apostle of peace? In the end, the question can only be answered by action. Do it or don't do it. It may help to think of it this way. If you were meant to cure cancer, or write a symphony, or crack cold fusion, and you don't do it, you not only hurt yourself, you even destroy yourself, you hurt your children, you hurt me, and you hurt the planet. You shame the angels who watch over you, and you spite the Almighty who created you, and only you with your unique gifts and talents. You were meant to nudge the human race 1 millimeter further along its path back to God. Creative work is not a selfish act or a bid for attention on the part of the actor. It's a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution, guys. Give us what you've got. Thank you, guys. I love you. Thanks for being here today. Thank you. Bye, guys.